The NFL offseason is here, not officially. That won't be for another month. But with the Super Bowl being over and the Super Bowl champion now being crowned, all 32 teams can move forward with the offseason. And we're here specifically, obviously, to talk about our Detroit Lions. And we're going to talk about the Brad Holmes' biggest weakness. And you guys already know what it is. I'm going to try to do this video without so much emotion because I've had time to process this. I've gone through a lot of emotions in the last 3 weeks. Last night, I had a huge rush of dopamine when I saw the Super Bowl was over and that the Philadelphia Eagles had won and how they won. And then I woke up this morning and the reality sunk in. And that is, I can make all the videos I want about Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Henderson. Until Brad Holmes trades for a person like that, makes a move for a person like that, sign someone like that in free agency, draft someone like that in the draft, why should I believe that he would do anything different? Now, I'm going to make videos and express my opinion as to why I would like to see it happen. That's what the majority of this channel is based off of. But the reality is Brad Holmes has a huge weakness, and that huge weakness is his inability to address the defensive line properly. I'm not saying that he is a horrible general manager. I'm not saying that he needs to be replaced. What I am saying is that he has a weakness, and his weakness was exposed officially yesterday. I've exposed that weakness many, many years ago. There's been other people that expose it as well. I got to give a shout out to two other creators that this is no disrespect to the other creators that I'm not going to mention, but there are a few creators that do not care what people have to say. So there are 3 creators to be precise: Motor City Sports Talk, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Motor City Mania. These are 3 guys that we have different values of the team. We have different philosophies, but one thing you're going to get from us is our version of the truth. No matter what kickback we get in the comment section, we're going to give it to you. And I'm going to try to do this and help you guys understand and help you understand that this is not just solely based off of emotion. The Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes, for the great general manager he is, the great drafter that he is, he has failed the team in properly addressing the pass rush. Well, Derek, you guys hear the word failed, and you take that one word and you run with it, and you try to make a mountain out of a molehill. Brad Holmes is a great general manager, but he has flaws. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's perfect, and I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect. But the life of a general manager, if I get boring, you stop watching me. If I offend you, you stop watching. You have a choice to stop watching me if you don't like what I do. Brad Holmes, for all the great things that he does, he has failed. There are certain things that he's horrible at. 1, properly addressing the defensive line. 2, trading for wide receivers. C, Donovan Peoples-Jones and Trinity Benson. But you don't have to take my word for it. Shout out to Reading Rainbow. I think I'm going to start saying that from now on. Bring it back, man. Shout out to LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow, man. Everybody knows. If you were 80s, you already know. Coming from Pride of Detroit, you're going to say, Derek, because I got the facts to back it up. What has Brad Holmes done since he took over? Now, I'm going to put a caveat out there. I am giving him a pass on the 2021 season. Our 3-13-1 season, I'm giving him a pass. He had to rebuild this team from Matt Patricia, and that is a good thing. So there's no hate there. There's no hate period, but I'm not trying to knock him for that. He did the best he could. I would say year 3 in 2023 is when it really became a problem. But let's take a look, and hopefully you guys can understand why I am so difficult, why I'm so upset about Broderick Martin. These are the free agent signings that the Detroit Lions did in 2021. We're going to focus on the defensive line. Charles Harris was who we brought in 2021 on the defensive line. Charles Harris. We also brought in via trade later on was Michael Brockers. He's no longer on the team. He hasn't been on the team in 2 seasons. Future signings, Joe Heath, Robert McCray. The people that we re-signed, Romeo Okwara, Looking at D linemen, we didn't do anything. I forgot Mohamed Sanu was on the team. So we didn't do anything. In the draft, on the defensive line, we took Aleem McNeil was in year 1. He was in the 3rd round. So we go to the draft. We took Levi in the 2nd round. We took Aleem in the 3rd round. Off the top of my head, I don't think we addressed anybody else on the defensive line. So that's year 1. Pause the video, dissect the picks, and tell me if you are impressed. Aleem McNeil, win. He's a win. 5.5 sack guy, causing havoc. Right where, to me, the average defensive end, a little above average defensive tackle is. Defensive tackles are more like 1-2 sack guys, 3 sack guys. If you're getting 5.5, 7, you're causing a problem. So, to me, Aleem McNeil did what he did, got the job done, and that's him, right? So that's year 1, and that's the year we're giving Brad a pass. Let's move to year 2. We're specifically talking about the defensive line. What do? In free agency signed by the Lions, we signed Isaiah Buggs. Look at what you see here. 1 year cheap deals. Now I'll give him some slack. We're coming out of things like this. Trey Flowers. A move that he didn't make, and this was a bad decision. This is the decision we don't want Brad to make. So I understand. Okay, cool. Resign. Let's go back. We're looking specifically for the defensive line. Charles Harris. Keep going. Nick Williams. He left. Signed elsewhere. That is year 2. Who do we draft that year? We took Aiden Hutchinson, 2nd overall. We then take Josh Paschal in the 2nd round. Who else? James Houston in the 6th round. This is our defensive line through 2 seasons. Okay, we're building through the draft. Brad had his hands tied, working with the previous regime from what they were doing. Now, let's fast forward to year 3. The draft, we talked about it so much, I can kind of off the dome in the draft, but let's focus on free agency first. What do? Again, specifically looking at the defensive line. What do? Nothing. We did not make a single move in free agency for the defensive line. I'm going to let you look again. Cornerback. Now you see why I pop off when Emmanuel Mosley. When we Ennis Rakestraw. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Let go of Michael Brockers. Isaiah Buggs, 2-year deal. John Kaminsky. That's what we did. Now, let's go to the draft. My favorite part of 2023. Pass on Jalen Carter. Take Jahmyr Gibbs. Take Jack Campbell with that 2nd first-round pick. Take Sam Laporta. Take Brian Branch. You know what we do after that? Broderick Martin is what we did. You put 2023 free agency with 2023 NFL draft. We trade up to get Broderick Martin. He has not made an impact on this team in 2 seasons. And we gave up a 4th and 2/5 to get a guy to take in the top 100. Let me remind you, taken in the 3rd round, Iffy, Kirby Joseph. 2 people. 1 was an all-pro. 1 has made an impact. And Broderick Martin has done absolutely nothing. So you see a pattern here. You're seeing the pattern. I don't have to make this stuff up. You're seeing a pattern. We're not focused on the good that Brad Holmes has done. We're talking about his biggest weakness. And last but not least, let's go to 2024. Let's look at the free agency. This might be the most impact that he's made in free agency. Matthew Betts, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Kyle Pecco. You're seeing a pattern here. 1-year deals. DJ Reader, 2-year deals. Marcus Davenport, 1-year deal. Matthew Betts didn't even make the team. That's all he's done through free agency. Nothing. Go down here, nothing. James Houston, not on the team. Nothing. Draft. We made one player in the NFL draft an impact player. That was Terrion Arnold. We took another cornerback in his Rakestraw. Role player after depth piece after non-factor. The defensive line was Mekhi Wingo in the 6th round. That's where James Houston was taken. I know y'all love Mekhi. Might not be on the team in 2 years. Brad Holmes has a weakness, and that weakness is the defensive line, specifically quality players that can make an impact, whether long-term or immediate. I'm not making this up. It's in the numbers. It's all there. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to do. Do me a favor. Try to reason. Try to debate my argument without bringing up the good that Brad Holmes has done. If you simply focus on the defensive line, and that's all, free agency and the draft, debate me with that. Not really, because that's not what my channel is about. But find an argument that is opposed to mine simply based off addressing the defensive line. We're not talking about the draft of cornerbacks, and we're not talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, and we're not specifically talking about the defensive line. Counter my argument that this is not the biggest flaw of Brad Holmes, which could be traced back to arrogance and haughtiness. Just putting it out there. Now, my delivery, I have not yelled a single time. I have not raised my voice one time in this video. I can't promise that that's going to be all the time, but I woke up this morning, dopamine rush was gone, felt like garbage, and we'll talk about it later. Right now, the way that I'm feeling, the way that our general manager is, the moves that he has yet to make, I have no thought that he's going to make the moves necessary. I thought going into the 2024 season, this has to be the year that we trade away a first-round pick for a star pass rusher, that we're able to do that. And what do? We go sign Marcus Davenport. That is the first day of free agency while everybody else is swiped off the market. Ladies and gentlemen, you get what you pay for. That has always been the motto of life. You get what you pay for. My mother told you that. Your mother told you that. It's the facts. If you go to Five Below, you're going to get Five Below stuff. If you go to the dollar store, you're going to get dollar store stuff. Is it a risk involved in a star player? Yes. It's the NFL. Everything that you do in life is risky. But if you properly build through the draft, you can afford to take a risk. The Philadelphia Eagles set the blueprint yesterday. They built through the draft. You're going to argue that. They built through the draft. The difference between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions, Brad, off the top of the dome, he's missed. Broderick Martin, he has not done. They took Jordan Davis in one draft. They took Jalen Carter the very next draft. We took Aiden Hutchinson, Josh Paschal. That's what we took. And the following year, we took Broderick Martin, in which we traded up and took a guy in the top 100. Remember what I was arguing about? If you take my yelling and emotion out of what I say and you strip it all down, what was my argument when we drafted Broderick Martin? We traded up to get him. We gave a 4th and 2 5ths. Let's not forget, Max Crosby, 4th round pick. Maybe our Max Crosby was waiting in the 4th round. Maybe our Max Crosby was the pick that we gave up for Broderick Martin. all I was asking is for a player to make an immediate impact or at least get on the field on a team that desperately needs a pass rush. And we trade up to get a guy in the top 100 that hasn't done anything. 50% of his rookie deal is over, and we still trying to validate this guy. Brad Holmes did that. Let me know what you think. One thing yesterday showed me is, Derek, okay, you might not have to yell all the time, but stay the course, bro. Stay the course. You're going to have true believers. You're going to have people who Brad Holmes can't do any wrong. But again, you don't have to take my word for it. It's in the numbers. Brad Holmes has a weakness and has failed to properly address the defensive line. I'll leave you guys with this. Hear a lot of arguments. Derek, we're 15-2. We had the best season of all time. We did all that. And when we lose with Derek, we had the most injuries. You can't really get a pass rush when you have the most injuries in the NFL. Why didn't you say that while we were winning? Why wasn't the injuries a problem when we were winning? The minute we lose, excuse. He's got a way out because we had all these injuries. Only a few of us were staying on this pass rush, even though we were winning. Me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I don't know if you feel it. There's a shift going on. Not with me, because I've been the same. I'm actually toning it down right now. There's a shift going on in Lions Nation. There's a shift. I can feel it. I can see it. Yes, the NFL, we've been crazy. And I want to wrap this up very soon. But these videos, man, we got a lot to talk about today. I'll say this, and this is my last point. Appreciate everybody that's still watching. Put me in double speed. That's what I do. Put everybody in double speed. Lions have a situation that they need to fix. And the hype for last year was taken over, was spilled over into 2024. Why? Because last year, according to most of you, we had exceeded expectations. So now we expect it to be what we were going into 15-2. So that's why last offseason was ridiculous. Everybody, the hype was at an all-time high. Do you feel it, though? Because I feel it. And I know you feel it, too. It ain't the same this year. It ain't the same. We were where we were supposed to be, and we laid an egg. And then the Philadelphia Eagles go win up a Super Bowl with not only our former player and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Darius Slay. They trade for Saquon. He wins year one. And I just thought about something, too. DeAndre Swift used to be on that team as well, which is crazy. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. This is a long video, man, but sometimes they got to be long. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.